Hello and welcome to Pilates Flex and Flow. Now my channel is really getting closer to that 500 subscribers target, so if you have not subscribed yet, there should be a button somewhere down here below the screen. If you can click that for me, I would be super grateful. Let's get on with the class, shall we? If you'd like to get onto hands and knees, we'll do a little warm up for our wrists. So onto all fours position and spread those finger pads nice and wide, gripping into the mat. Start to just take your body weight left to right, gently swaying side to side there. So we're using the finger pads to grip as always, so that we're not taking all of the load through the wrists. It means we can build some strength through the fingers if you arch your fingers slightly. And then let's start to circle the body weight around, so starting to take those gentle circles. So we load one wrist and then the other. You're in charge here of how hard you want to take this. This is just a warm up. And then we'll change direction, take those back the other way. Wonderful. And then just bringing it to sit off the wrists, whether that's kneeling back or kneeling up, and give your wrists a nice rotation. Changing direction, making sure you've gone both ways. And then just a little shake out. Resting the hands somewhere, maybe on the lap here, and just tuck the chin down to the chest, start to roll the chin to the left, round to the right. Rolling chin to the left, chin to the right. Taking this as slowly as you need to, working gently if there's any creaks and clunks. Maybe your neck and your head is ready for a full circle, just if you want one. And then a full circle the other way. And keep doing circles or half circles, whatever works for you. And one more time. And then taking your hands forwards again, we're going to find child's pose. So taking your bottom back towards your feet and stretching your hands out along the mat. So you might want to rest your forehead here. And we're going to take this forwards to kneeling plank. So widespread finger pads, because we're going to weight them over the hands again. In your kneeling plank, tuck your tailbone. Draw your pubic bone up towards your nose. Push strong out of the hands. Draw shoulder blades down the back and open your collarbones nice and wide. Long from your crown, down your spine, all the way to tailbone. And then push back to child's pose for a stretch. Forwards to kneeling plank. Remember the tuck of the pelvis, drawing down shoulder blades, opening collarbones, long from crown to tail. Back to that child's pose again. And then moving gently between these two motions. So you've got your kneeling plank and your child's pose. And you can go nice and slowly if you need to today, or you can start to build up a little bit of pace and start to warm up a little bit through the body. This is a great warm-up because we get the shoulders opening, we get flexion at hips and knees, and we also get this engagement through the core and the drawing down through the shoulder blades to help activate muscles in the back. Let's take it forwards to our kneeling plank. Meet me there. Tailbone tucks, pubic bone draws up towards the nose. Curl your toes and take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, lift one knee, then two knees. So you're off the floor now in the full plank, pressing away through the hands, drawing the shoulder blades down, opening those collarbones. From here, let's pike our hips up to downward dog. If you need to adjust hands and feet to make this a little bit more comfortable, please do. And lift those hips high. You can encourage your heels a little bit closer to the floor by imagining that you are anchoring your heels down. But lift those hips, look between the legs, let the head and the neck relax. We're going to go from downward dog forwards to our plank position, so bring the weight back over the wrists again. Inhale there. Exhale, push to downward dog. Inhale in the down dog. Exhale, come to plank. Inhale in the plank. Exhale to the downward dog. Inhale in the down dog. Exhale in your transition to plank. Inhale in the plank. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale in the down dog. And exhale forwards to plank. We'll take the knees down to the mat. and push back to child's pose. Take 3 deep breaths into the body. Forwards to plank position and back to downward dog. Lift those hips. From here, taking your right hand, we're going to try and reach through towards our left foot. Right hand places back down, left hand threads through to the opposite foot. Left hand places down, right hand twists through. If you can reach your toes, fantastic, try and reach beyond them. Let's start to try looking underneath the armpit now as we look under, get a deeper twist, that's it. So you're going opposite hand to opposite foot, look underneath your armpit if you can. 2 more times here. And back to your plank position. Holding plank, nice deep breath. Knees down, and back to child's pose, 3 breaths. Find that long plank position again. Find your downward dog. This time, take your right hand, reach through to the left foot as we did before. Now start to open your right arm. We're going to swivel onto the feet. So turn your toes to the right edge of your mat. Swivel your hips to the right, ribs and shoulders to stack hand above shoulder in side plank. Take this right hand, lift back to downward dog and try and touch your left toes again. Back to side plank, opening your body to the right, swiveling the toes, hips, ribs, shoulders to the right. And back into high hips, down dog. And back into side plank. Let's just go for 1 more round. Into down dog, lift those hips, thread through. Back to side plank. And then hands to the mat, back to plank. Knees to the ground. And back to child's pose. Well done. Take a little breather. We're going to work through that on the other side. Forwards to that plank position. Lift and pike the hips to the downward dog. Make any adjustments you need to here. Left hand is going to reach and thread through towards the right foot. You're then going to open your left arm, swivel your toes to the left edge of the mat, swivel the hips, the ribs, the shoulders into side plank. Pike and lift the hips as you travel back to that downward dog, reach across to the right foot. Again, opening up to side plank on the right as you twist your body to face the left edge. Pike the hips, twisting into downward dog, reaching for your right ankle. And again, opening up to side plank on the right. And reaching for that right foot. We open up to side plank on the right. 1 more round. We're going to pike the hips, come to that down dog, reach for the right foot. And then open up, side plank on the right. Take the hands to the mat, back to plank position, knees down, and back to child's pose. Really, really well done. That was quite an intense plank sequence. Just take a few recovery breaths here, let your breath settle, and let your heart rate slow down a little bit. Now's a really good time to give your wrist a little bit of a roll as well. Just give those a loosen off. Finding a side lying position next. Let's come to lay down. You can lay down fully in side lying, or you can prop up on the elbow. It's up to you what's more comfortable. So prop up on the elbow, you want your elbow directly underneath your shoulder. Now you might find actually holding your head and neck up this high for this long is quite irritating. So you are more than welcome to come to lay down and rest the head on the arm, or find a cushion or a block there to help you as well. Okay, so whatever position you like. I'm going to actually prop my head up on my hand here because that's a nice middle ground as well. Checking in with the legs then, long legs, you want this top hip directly above the bottom hip. Resist that temptation for it to roll forwards or back. If you feel like you're wobbling forwards or back, just bend that base knee a little bit. It will give you more support and stop you falling over. So we're going for a nice long extension through the top of the body, and then just squeezing arm towards leg, contracting at the top of the waist. Inhale, go long. Exhale, squeezing. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale. And lengthen. And squeeze. And lengthen. And squeeze. Here for 4. And squeeze. 3. Squeeze. 2. And squeeze. And one more time, long. And squeeze. Lovely. Bringing the knees to tuck the knees in now, so they want to come in front of the body, ready for our clamp. The soles of the feet want to be just in line with the back of your bottom. Okay. Now we're going to try and keep our knees stacked to start with, and the hips stacked one above the other. So again, this means that they're not kind of shimmying forwards or backwards. You want to keep them nicely glued. Things to watch here is that this hip doesn't roll in and compress through the upper waist as well. So try and keep the hip lengthening away so it's not collapsing into your ribs. And then keeping your hip in place, we're going to just open the top knee and close it. Things to watch here is as you open, it's really tempting to actually drop the hip back and open the pelvis. We're not going to do that. We're going to try and keep the pelvis in excellent skeletal alignment as we just open the thigh bone in the hip socket. Okay, so this is your clamp, keeping a lovely neutral pelvic position. You should be using your core here as well. Imagine someone's trying to slide a piece of paper underneath your waist there. You want to try and keep that nice and strong. That will help with your stability here. Another 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is going to get a little bit tougher now. Are you ready? We're going to add in an arm. So we're going to open our arm as we clamp, and then add in a diagonal kick, feet together, and close the clamp. So open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Keep that hip long, open, kick, together, and close. Give that glute a little bit of a rub if it needs a little bit of a rub. And we're going to expand on that sequence. So when you're ready, same again. Lengthen that hip away to keep the space at the waist. Open, kick. This time go long for a stretch through the arm and leg. Then crunch like we did before, arm to leg. Feet come back together and we close the clamp. So we open, kick, long reach and crunch. Feet together, close clamp. Open, kick, long reach and crunch. Feet together, close clamp. Open, kick, long reach and crunch. Close feet, close clamp. And open, kick, long reach, crunch, feet together, close clamp. Last round then, we're opening, kick, long reach, crunch, feet together, close clamp. Really nice. Give that glute a little bit of a rub or even a bit of a whack. Can feel quite nice. This will just get the blood flow back to the muscle and bring some oxygen, some energy back there for you. And we're going to try this sequence on the other side. So just take a little bit of time to roll over. Grab any extra cushions and things if you need to grab any extra cushions. Again, option to prop up on the elbow here. If you are propping up an elbow, be careful that we're not sinking into the mat. You want to try and keep the ribs lifted to keep some strength through the core there. Remember, you could also just come to lay down, head on the arm, or prop up head on hand like I'm going to do here. So we're going to start with our long crunch, our long arm and leg extension. So we did say if you were feeling a bit wobbly that you could bend your bottom knee to help you. Elongate this top side of the waist, so lengthen that hip down towards the bottom of your mat. We're going to take a long arm and we're going to crunch arm towards leg. Inhale long. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale long. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale long. Exhale, squeeze. And try not to let the leg do all the work. You don't have to come really high with the leg. Try and get an extra little crunch through the waist. So we lengthen the top side of the waist and then contract and shorten the top side of the waist. So almost take your ribs towards your hip there and then lengthen as you lengthen away. So we'll go for about another 3, 2, and finally, last crunch. Good. We're going to tuck both the knees forwards, ready for our clam, lining the soles of the feet up with the back of the bottom and knees tucked slightly. Remember what we said, we start with the knees stacked one above the other, hips stacked one above the other. And again, think about lengthening the top side of the waist so that we're not collapsing here. Okay, so beginning with your clam, we're going to open the top knee, keeping the top hip just above the bottom hip there. So we're avoiding that rolling back and opening through the pelvis. Good. So we're keeping our skeleton in position, keeping the spine and the pelvis in place. And we've just got this thigh bone opening in the hip socket. So we're really digging into these outer hip muscles. These are what we call our abductor muscles. Going to go for about 4 or 5 more here. Use that exhale on the hard bit. Should be starting to feel some nice little burn in the side of the hip there. Okay, so next one, we're going to start to add in our kick. So we're going to open, kick on that diagonal, feet back together and close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, core still on, together, close. Open, kick, together, close. Open, kick, together. Last time. Open, kick, together, and have a little breather, a bit of a rub or a bit of a whack. That whack feels quite good sometimes, just to get a little bit more life back into the hip. And then we're going to move into our bigger clam sequence. So remember this one, we're going to add in the arm as well. So taking your top arm to open with the clam. Lovely. From there, let's take our kick. Then we go long, stretch arm and leg away, crunch arm and leg together, bring the feet together, close the clam. So we open, kick, stretch long, crunch, feet together, close, open, kick, stretch long and crunch, feet together and close. That's it, open, kick, stretch long, crunch, feet together and close, open clam and kick, stretch long and crunch, feet together, close clam. Last round here, let's go. Open, kick, stretch long, crunch, feet together and close that clam. Really, really good job. Again, give that glute a little bit of a rub there to loosen off. If it needs a bit of a whack, give it a little bit of a whack. You might like to join me now on your back and we'll do just a few windscreen wiper knees to help loosen the hips a bit further. So mat width through the feet here and starting to take the knees left and right to loosen into hips. And hopefully you'll get a really nice length in the outer hip there. Working a bit of internal and external rotation and a little bit of twist in the low back as well. So hug your knees in towards your chest next and do a few little rocks and rolls until you come up to a seated position. Joining me in seated with legs out long. Now if you struggle to sit with legs out long, you might prefer a block or you might prefer to just bend the knees. Just try and find a way to sit tall on your sit bones for me. We're going to work on our roll backs. Now you don't have to go the full way to the floor, but I am going to teach you how to get there. We'll bring our arms into a cuddle position. Okay, and we want to find a curved spine first, so we're going to just tuck off the sit bones so our sacrum kind of starts coming down towards the mat. And you can see my lower back and my upper back has already started to curve there. My tummy's working hard. And then I'm going to just slowly start to lower each vertebra back down to the mat. Now that might be a bit tough. You might just want to go halfway and come upright today. Otherwise, all the way down to the mat, controlling one vertebra at a time. We'll go for an overhead reach there. Now, how do we get back up? We need a little bit of momentum here, and we need to also work in order. So in order of getting your weight from the top of your mat towards the bottom of your mat, your arms are the easy ones, so we'll take those forwards first. Then your head, so your chin and your head want to go forwards, and then getting the rib cage up is a little bit tougher. So we're going to use a bit of momentum for that as well. So when you're ready, starting to take your tuck of the sacrum, rounding, engaging your core to help you control down towards the mat. Overhead reach, inhale, and then go hands, chin, rib cage towards the toes, and up tall to the sit bones again. Breath in, exhale, rounding. Inhale, overhead reach. Hands, chin, rib cage forwards. And up tall. Breath in. Exhale, rolling back, rounding, 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 rounding. Inhale for the overhead reach. And hands, chin, rib cage to the toes. And back up tall as we inhale. Exhale, rounded spine, core on. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, hands, chin, rib cage to the toes. Rolling back up on the inhale. Exhale, rounded spine. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, hands, chin, rib cage. Tall. Like me, you might be migrating up your mat. Don't worry about that. And our last movement here. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, hands, chin, ribs to the toes. And gently back up tall. So really well done if you're managing to get down. Even better if you're managing to get back up again. Basically, if you can't get upwards yet, keep practicing the slow roll back. It's the same muscles, it's just an easier way because they're lengthening out. So it's an easier way to start building up some strength there. I'm going to take you through a slightly tougher option. You're welcome to join me. Alternatively, keep practicing your rollbacks as you've just done. But I'm going to try and get into this from the teaser today. So you can use your hands to help you get up to teaser. You walk, 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 walk in with your feet. And then you get to a point where you don't really need your feet because you found your balance on your sacrum. Okay, so that's your teaser balance. You want to come nice and tall through the crown here. Open across the collarbones. Imagine you've just put the coat hanger into your t-shirt there. And then we release the hands. Now this is going to bring us, as we roll back, into tabletop legs. So start to tuck, 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 round, 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 and you end up in tabletop legs. Now you can then bring your feet down and just come up any way you like. Okay, so back into your teaser balance. Hands free, tuck, round, control, back down. Again, feet can come down and you can come back up. Back to teaser, tall through the crown. And back you go, round, 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 back towards the mat. Feet down, and bring yourself any way you like up to the top of your sit bones, finding teaser balance again. Rounding, rounding, control with the core, lovely. Feet down, let's come back up for our final teaser, roll back, finding your teaser balance. Tuck, 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 round, and release. Lovely, so stretch your toes nice and long, stretch your hands up tall and have a really good stretch out through the tummy there, a really good stretch. Stretch a bit more down the right leg and right hand so you can stretch the right side. And then stretch a bit more on the left side. Really, really good. And then start to walk your feet in towards your bottom, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Let's pull those in. So have a gentle stretch there for the low back. And we're going to come to a butterfly variation here. If available to you, you're going to open your knees, reach through and grab both your feet and pull them in towards you. As you pull your feet in, the knees wing out wide like butterfly wings, and that's what gives us this deep inner hip stretch. If those feet are not within reach, you can either grab a band and band the feet, Or pop the feet down on the mat and just let the knees splay outwards like butterfly wings, but you're slightly more grounded. Okay, so either option works. Let's stay here for deep breaths deep in the body. So try and send that breath into the body. Wonderful, and then just releasing those feet back down onto the mat. Take your left ankle and place it on top of the right knee and just push your left knee open. That might be absolutely spot on. If you need more, you're going to pick your legs up, hold behind the right thigh, pull them in toward the chest. Now if you're quite a bendy person, and I mean like me, my bottom tends to want to lift off the floor here, we just want to encourage our sacrum to stay in contact with the mat so that we pull in through the legs. Because if your bottom starts to lift, really you're just rounding your back, you're not actually getting a deeper stretch in the hip itself. So just drawing in here. So this will get that outer hip. Okay, we worked quite hard with that on our side lying, with that quite intense clam sequence. So stretching out there. And then we'll change sides. So crossing right ankle onto left knee, push the right knee open wide. That might be spot on. If you need more, you pick your legs up and pull them in toward you. A few more deep breaths here in the body. Feeling that right outer hip lengthening. And then gently placing both feet back down onto the mat. Let's see if we can bring ourselves back up to a seated position for our final stretch, which is going to be in straddle. So taking your legs quite wide there for me. If you can, maybe bringing your sit bones a bit further forward and kind of sneaking up on your stretch a little bit there. You want your toes to point up to the ceiling rather than rolling forwards or rolling backwards, because that means that our hips are kind of rolling in or out a little bit. So toes up, kneecaps down, and we're just going to take one hand onto your left leg. You're going to turn away and then slide down your left leg. That right hand is going to just reach up towards the ceiling, and you're going to find height through the right side of the body. So you feel that right side of the body stretch, the right lumbar stretch, and obviously we've got hips, inner thighs and hamstrings going as well. So relax the head and neck wherever you can, and deep breaths. Bringing the arm back down, nice and slowly as you build a little bit of strength to return back to center. Nice, we'll do the other side now. So you're going to take your hands onto your right leg, turn away from it, and then slide down it. Toes still pointing upwards. Left hand is going to stretch. So we're going to try and find height through the body, lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Relax head and neck if you can. Releasing hand, slowly finding some strength to rebuild your spine. Bringing your legs wherever you want your legs now. I'm going to cross mine, but you can have yours more comfortably if you need to. We're going to take the hands just up above the head and give that a nice push. Find a nice tall spine and a couple of breaths there. Gently allow the hands to part and interlock the hands behind you. So with the hands behind you, you're going to kind of push them nice and low down towards the mat. Allow the shoulders to draw back and down. Now if you've got the range, you're going to see if you can bring the hands away from your bottom and breathe here. Opening the front of the chest, opening across the front of the shoulders. And releasing, unraveling and untangling your hands and coming to sit comfortably. So that is us finished for another really good class. So thank you for all your efforts today, and I'll see you at the next session.